Welcome everybody to our crypto spiritual market sentiment update for week 24, June 8th till 15th. My name is Jona Brindis. I'm an energy coach, abundance trainer, remote viewer, and energy healer. And what I'm presenting here for you today is how collective energies translate into the cryptocurrency blockchain environment, into the market, and what this means for us as sort of mini investors into this new industrial revolution. I just finished the weekly energy update for collective energies, and just so you know, this is mainly geared towards energetically sensitives and empaths. So everything that I'm reporting about here may sound a bit woo-woo, but there's a lot of research behind this. The people that I'm working with within transCODES, our proud sponsor here for the Crypto Spiritual Update, are trained energy workers who have studied, who have researched and practiced energy work and energy testing for 20, 30 years each. So a lot of what we are translating here from these collective energies is actually empirical, meaning that we can see how whatever is coming through our collective matrix, if you will, kind of manifests in the crypto market, in the prices, in the projects, in the news around, you know, the crypto sphere. So that's why we call this the market sentiment update here. So one of the main energies that are coming in right now for the entire collective is sort of like an explosive clash of dualistic energies. Okay, so yes, progress, but no, not letting go of the old system, and that creates a bit of a schism within all of us. All right, and so the last 2 weeks, I've warned you guys, you know, that there's a lot of potentiality for FUD, but mostly pump and dump, and a lot of volatility, and it's just slightly better looking for next week. So I'm not expecting a huge change within the next week. I'm expecting a lot of news though. So there's a emotionality cooking. There's a lot of explosiveness coming into these energies right now, and I don't think that the news are crypto related. I mean, they're continually positive news, and you know, the market cap that we're seeing is not reflecting that yet. So we're still sort of at the 345, 350 billion mark. That is a suppression of sort of, in my view, the natural movement into this market. So there's a lot of money sitting there waiting to flow into the market, and I don't think this is going to happen until probably the first week of July. Okay, because what we are seeing coming in now here as collective energies is building. This is just the beginning. So we have a build up here and a clash towards the end of June. Not a clash in the crypto market, but a clash in the other financial markets. And that then, as we all know, because most of us here are investing in the cryptocurrencies because we see it as a hedge, so to speak. So there's a bit frustration right now, and a lot of people, if they entered the crypto market in November, December, you know, at all-time highs for most tokens or altcoins, then it can be a bit frustrating right now. I understand this, but this is where the duality of the human nature comes in. This is what we have to learn how to transcend, okay? Not just in regards to crypto investments, but in regards to the overall evolution of mankind. The things that will probably be most successful here in these weeks to come are aspects of liquidity, things that have to do with, you know, being able to adapt fast. So adaptability is one of the main traits that we need to develop here right now. And I know you're all waiting for the crypto integrity rating here for this week. We have built up a database of ICOs, tokens, exchanges and wallets that are, where we test the integrity and the truth level of them. And some of these exchanges, we've already seen this because they basically aligned to profits, of course, also have tokens now. And I want to point your attention to these tokens, especially today. It's visible. When I prepared the report 2 days ago, it hadn't materialized yet. But HUOBI, BINANCE, BuyBox, I think they're called, these are all tokens that people use for the interchange. So let's say they invest into an altcoin and then it moves downward, then they exchange it quickly into the exchange token simply because there's no fees or almost no fees. And that shows me that, there's a lot of market cap that is being parked, okay, and these liquidity tokens will benefit from this here probably till the end of the year, probably even beyond that. However, the overall idea is that we need to have this flexibility here. When we invest in something, that we can quickly pull it out, that we can quickly convert it into US dollars. So BITTREX, for instance, has come up with new pairings, US dollar pairings, and of course, these tokens such as Tether and TrueUSD, those are all, these all belong into this category. One piece of news that I would like to pick up here from last week, which I found very interesting, is CarVertical, soon to be rebranded. I don't know yet what their name is going to be, but they announced a really big corporation with Volkswagen. And CarVertical is one of those really interesting applications for blockchain technologies. Okay, so this is where you can literally see what this technology actually can do for us as users, as the end user, so to speak. It instead of VIN numbers or instead of insurance registries, CarVertical is introducing an application where every car is literally, or the information about every car is stored on the blockchain, visible for everybody, like accidents or, not just a regular data about the car, but also what happened to the car and, the value and all that. This is a very, very practical application, and I'm personally very fond of those. And in times like this, we have to see that we invest into these applications that allow more of an integration and implementation, into our real life. It's still, I talked about this before. There's a frustration a bit as a merchant, so I accept cryptocurrencies for my services, but it's really difficult. We don't really have a good payment processing system here yet. The next subject is DApps. What are DApps, or DApps as some call, decentralized applications? I wanted to point your attention to this. Those are the kind of things that we will need to see here, for the early adaptation phase. And I've posted an article link to this video that gives you a bit more info about what DApps are. But one of these one good examples, for instance, CryptoKitties, one of the first DApp that came out, sort of for the public with Etherium. And, these are applications that are not really run by one single server. They're decentralized and they work together, and it really, in my view, show the vision of blockchain technology. There's a lot of applications that like games or even social media and so forth, that if we can make this migration into a DApp run, decentralized applications, I think it will be much easier for people to understand what the advantages are there. And the advantages are, scalability, the advantages are speed, of course, the advantages are, a more open system that is more transparent. And transparency is one of the big trades here that come in pertaining integrity. So integrity testing that we offer here at Crypto Spiritual is something that you won't see anywhere else. We're not testing an investment based on how good this investment looks like. We're testing these tokens, these wallets, these exchanges based on their alignment to truth and their alignment to the greater good of all, the entire sort of decentralized future that we are all hoping for, where nobody really owns our data, where we own our own data, and if we so choose to, can also monetize it or get rewards for it. Okay, so this is what DApps will allow us to do. The book recommendations that I wanted to share with you here today is something that derived from several other lists and articles that I've read this week. I didn't read all these books, but some of them. And for anyone who would like to know more about, not only how cryptocurrencies work, what they mean for our future, but also the philosophical aspect of that, or how it fits into some of the overall adaptation in our sort of system here, in our power system, then check out these 10 book recommendations that I have for you. Okay, there will be in the description for the video here. But this is something that for those of you who really want to know a little deeper, also, about what I am testing here when we're doing these integrity tests. All right, so this was the overview here for this week. The energy centers involved will be the first, second, fourth, sixth, and later fifth chakra. What does this mean? In the past, I've done extensive work showing here what sort of our energy centers determine and what we can expect. So for you guys, just a real quick overview what that brings in. It brings in the fear of loss, the fear of being completely left alone, maybe also being betrayed a bit. This is what we have to counteract, because there's a duality with that. It was all hyped up, and therefore we had unrealistic expectations. It triggered our own greed and so forth. So these things all need to be balanced out within ourselves here as conscious investor. Most of the FUD that we see next week will most likely be encouraging, but don't fall for the hype of it either, okay? And go into this DODL mode, okay? So DODL is just a meme that I came up with, HODL, you all know what HODL is. But DODL goes a step further, and this is where you actually start integrating this into your own life. If you have a business where you accept cryptocurrencies, or where you invest into practical applications. Also, just understand that there's a lot of regulatory and governance issues right now, and we're going to see some of that here coming in latest towards the end of June and the beginning of July. All right, then, let's get started with the integrity test. And by the way, this is live, and I can see you now. Took a little while for YouTube to let me know. I see Chicago, I see Canada, I see Trinidad. Welcome, guys. I need your feedback, okay, for the integrity testing. I need you guys to let me know what it is that you want me to test. We have 4 categories as of right now, which is ICO, a token or altcoin, exchange and wallet, and we're going to be adding 2 more categories in the future. We're going to be adding mining and investment projects, and we're going to be adding a survey, a sentiment survey. This is new here, and this all depends on my workload, how fast I can get this realized. The factors that play into the integrity of a token or a exchange or an ICO are the investment, the currency or the token itself, then the people behind it, involved in leadership positions, but also encompassing sort of team aspects. And then thirdly, the technology, the vision of the technology and the project. And there is something very interesting that I found out this week. When we test open source projects, the issue with the team and the people involved is that it's very difficult to test. We get conflicting data there. We have the ability to look into how the people work together. So this is then what we looked at. We weren't able to actually determine the integrity level of open source projects, only how well the team works together and so forth. So I want you to keep this in mind. And one more disclaimer here. This is not investment advice. It's very important that you don't see this as investment advice because we don't want any hypes. There's no rating as far as, like, you know, whether this is a good or a fast or a return of investment guarantee. This is showing you the alignment to truth and the alignment to the overall benefit of the system. Okay, so this is what is being tested here, and we use energetic calibration for this, and it's not based on psychic stuff. We have psychics here in the team, and we also have remote viewers in the team, and so it's a bit of a mixture. So we get not only the numeric values that you then see published in the results, but we also get a little more background information about, you know, sort of what do these numbers mean. Therefore, it's very important that you don't just look at these integrity ratings standalone. It's very important that you sort of look at the interpretation of this. So this week we've picked primarily sort of decentralized projects for the ICO. We picked Liquidity Network. LQD is going into ICO stage on 14th of June, I think. And this just so happened to fit really well with what I said earlier about liquidity. So the main sort of vision here of this project is that they can offer sort of scalability solutions for liquidity, micropayments, and so forth. This may sound a bit technical, but I think that they have actually something there. The ICO, the token itself, calibrated at 208. That's trustworthy. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking at least 200 for an integrous or trustworthy project. The people in the organization behind it actually calibrated relatively high at 212. However, there are issues with the team right now. There needs to be more trust within the team, in the project, and also in the leadership. Okay, so if you guys are listening here, that's what we're seeing at least. The project and the vision of the project with 205 is also relatively high. This is one of the highest ICOs that we've tested. And so it's very interesting, definitely has a cool midterm potential. And there's something that we're seeing in the white paper, in the vision, the future of this ICO, and that is that we have received overlay here. These are sort of potential timelines that this ICO can go into later as an altcoin, and that is that it may actually become more powerful and more successful after sort of a first updates have been released. Okay, so as let me get this away here for you. As a token, we have chosen to, you know, just simply because it fits well, and we're also building a database here, we've chosen one of the most decentralized token out there, besides Bitcoin maybe and some others, and that is Ethereum. So Ethereum is pretty well known. You know, I don't need to explain this anymore, and it was quite surprising for me what we came up with as testing here. So the token itself did not calibrate above truth, meaning that at 197, it just so barely makes the trustworthy barrier. However, it's a very way-showing project, and we all know this. I don't know how many other altcoins and projects are based on Ethereum currently, but I think it's over 1,000. So it was really sort of needed in a breaker of chains, if you will, when it came out years back. The people seem a bit fickle. The team calibrates over truth, calibrates as integrous with 209, but they can easily get frustrated. So there's a great intention here in the team, and I would love for you guys to support this, because we don't see a team that calibrates that high very often, but they can easily jump off here. Also, the headhunting that is taking place in the crypto spirit, in the crypto market, can be a little bit of a problem for Ethereum. However, what surprised me was that the vision here of this technology calibrates below 200, which means that in future it may not have as big of a market power as it used to have as a breaker of change. So this is not a good or bad rating. The overall integrity rating here for Ethereum is 200, which is trustworthy. Okay, so Ethereum is going to be there. It's going to be there for a long time. But the way I interpret this is that it probably means that we're going to see projects that exceed you know, the potential of Ethereum in the future. And this may or may not actually involve the same people. I would love to see this. I'm a big fan of Ethereum. Next, as an exchange, we picked a smaller exchange, and yet though quite popular in some areas, not so much in the United States, I think, but it's Kraken. Okay, Kraken is, I think, currently ranking 31 in the exchanges. So it's not a very big exchange, but many people that I know actually like Kraken for their you know, user interface. However, the exchange and the safety of that exchange rated 192, that's not bad. We've had worse and much bigger exchanges for that. And the people in the organization calibrate lower, which is also something that we can now see as a tendency with exchanges. It's greed-based, it's profit-based, it's okay. So the overall rating for Kraken is 190, just okay for an exchange. It's greed-based. What I'm missing here with Kraken is a higher goal. So I'm not that on fire personally, but it doesn't mean that you know, you can't use Kraken. I would definitely not leave my tokens on Kraken. Use your wallet, use your hardware wallet preferably to transfer the tokens that you buy on Kraken. That counts for every exchange for that matter. As a wallet, we chose to test MyEtherWallet, one of the first decentralized, fully decentralized original wallets. Okay, and this is very, very cool because it actually confirms my own sort of feeling, you know, as a crypto investor myself. MyEtherWallet tests in its wallet function Over integrity, 205, trustworthy. It's a good wallet. Is it user friendly? Some say yes, some say no. I've never had problems with it. Are there improvements possible? Absolutely. The people, that surprised me a bit, because I thought, well, but this is an open source project, and so we encountered the problems here that I mentioned earlier. It's very difficult to do integrity testing on an open source project. So it only came out to 185. This is because you know, there's no clear leadership there. The technology, however, tested very high with 229. It's not only trustworthy, it is also really way showing and something that bodes for a beautiful long-term vision. We had some data come in regards to the funding of MyEtherWallet, and that you may find this interesting. But I think that we can see so much more if there was more funding. So if you have a few dollars extra and want to donate to a project that you think you know, can help the crypto sphere to grow and to mature, and then think of MyEtherWallet. It's a wonderful project, rates at 206, which for a wallet is pretty good. All right, guys, this is it here from my side. Do you have any questions or comments that you would like me to respond to? Once more, we're going to start a survey here pretty soon, because we have not enough feedback from you guys as to what you want us to test. This is, you know, part of our sort of, I want to say self-responsibility almost, you know, to see not only where can we make the most profit, but I mean, most of my audience here is consists of conscious investors, and we're also investing into these cryptos for other reasons than just short-term return of investment. And if we can pick and choose some projects, like I do this, I have a certain percentage in my portfolio. I try to keep it around 10%, where I invest into projects, into people, into visions that support the overall system, that help to increase the energy of the overall system. And so donating, or even if we are developers ourselves, volunteering, or you know, wanting to help, you know, to increase the integrity, then I would say this is really part of you know, our conscious awareness now, not just as investors, also as witnessers of this industrial revolution. Okay, I hope you learned something today. I hope this was inspiring to you. Please, please, please let me know what you want us to test. Okay, this is very, very important. So put this in the comments here before we go live with the survey every week. We need your guys' input. Okay, thank you very much. Hope to see you next week. Don't forget to smash the like button. And I can't wait to see what happens here for the next week. Bye-bye.